sides of the story. Knowledge is power. Classes in session, hour 106.
If a child lives with criticism, he learns to condemn. If a child lives with hostility, he learns to fight. If a child lives with ridicule, he learns to be shy. If a child lives with shame, he learns to feel guilty.
Children learn what they read. Children live what they learn. Teach them to wait, to love in their hearts. They will find love in the world.
If a child lives with tolerance, he learns to be patient. If a child lives with encouragement, he learns confidence. If a child lives with praise, he learns to appreciate. If a child lives with fairness, he learns justice.
Children learn what they read. Children live what they learn. Teach them to wait, to love in their heart. They will find love in the world.
If a child lives with security, he learns to have faith. If a child lives with approval, he learns to like himself. If a child lives with acceptance and friendship, he learns to find love in the world.
Children learn what they read. Children live what they learn. Teach them to wait, to love in their hearts. They will find love in the world. Children learn what they live. Children live what they learn. Teach them to wait, to love in their hearts. They will find love in the world. Children learn what they live. Children live what they learn. Teach them to wait, to love in their heart, and they will find out in the world.
It's the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, the Decade of Action for Road Safety, and the UN International Decade of Indigenous Languages. It's the second day of the 5th month of 2023, the International Year of Millets, those cereals grown in warm countries and regions with poor soils, bearing a large crop of small seeds, which are chiefly used to make flour. 2023 is also the International Year of Dialogue as a guarantee of peace. The American Hospital Association and affiliated American health organizations are marking May as Mental Health Awareness Month, Stroke Awareness Month, Arthritis Awareness Month, Better Hearing and Speech Month, Cystic Fibrosis Awareness Month, Global Employee Health and Fitness Month, Healthy Vision Month, Hepatitis Awareness Month, Melanoma, Skin Cancer Detection and Prevention Month, Asthma and Allergy Awareness Month, Celiac Disease Awareness Month, High Blood Pressure Education Month, Osteoporosis Awareness and Prevention Month, Lupus Awareness Month, Physical Fitness and Sports Month, Teen Pregnancy Prevention Month, and Older Americans Month. The month of May is being observed here in Jamaica as National Exporters Month, Child Month, hence our selection this afternoon. Children live what they learn. Les Crane reciting that piece. It's also Education Month and, as we said, Lupus Awareness Month. It's the second day of labor in Russia and Slovenia, 2 de Mayo in España, the King's birthday in Lesotho, National Flag Day in Poland, Brothers and Sisters Day in the USA. Baha'is are marking the 12th day of Ridvan, and Jamaicans are celebrating Education Week. Hoy es martes, el 2 de mayo 2023, y les saludamos en cualquier parte que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y otra edición de su programa. Nunca vamos a tomar porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones. Y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir both sides of the story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos. C'est mardi le 2 mai 2023 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutent, que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service par une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un du soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue.
He learns to feel guilty.
Children love what they read. Children live what they love.
All we're saying is it's Tuesday, the 2nd of May, 2023, and we greet you well, wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices, and that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome.
Teach them to wait the love in their heart. They will find love in the world.
If a child lives with security, he learns to have faith. If a child lives with approval, he learns to like himself.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:15.
Do you have a title for your property? If no, then get a registered certificate of title.
To register your property, you will need a tax registration number, a valid government-issued ID, up-to-date property tax payments, the names, addresses, and occupations of two neighbors over the age of 50 who are not family members and can give a declaration on your behalf, a survey diagram, and documentation to prove ownership. For more information, contact the National Land Agency at 876-750-5263, 876-946-5263. Email asknla@nla.gov.jm or WhatsApp us at 876-418-5089.
Every time my son send the liquor ball for me, I have to go sit down and walk all day like me have nothing else to do. No, sir, you no fear do this.
Tired of spending all day at the wharf to clear your barrel?
Driver, turn up that the little bit for me there.
Starting May 1, use contactless clearance to clear your non-commercial shipments and avoid the long wait. Call Jamaica Customs today at 876-922-51408 or email contactless clearance at jca.gov.jm.
But God goody, me I go call customs and learn about the contactless clearance. Hook me up.
Less waiting, more convenience. Try Customs contactless clearance today.
Both sides of the story.
Do you have a title for your land? Are you thinking about buying or selling land? How much is your property worth? Tune in to Both Sides of the Story with Dervan Malcolm on Power 106 FM every last Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. for The NLA and You, a program that examines the National Land Agency's role in building an efficient and transparent land titling system for Jamaicans. That's The NLA and You on Both Sides of the Story with Dervan Malcolm every last Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. The National Land Agency. One agency, one goal, committed to serve you better.
Children live what they love. Teach them to wait, to love in their hearts. They will find love in the world.
If a child lives with tolerance, he learns to be patient. If a child lives with encouragement, he learns confidence. If a child lives with praise, he learns to appreciate. If a child lives with fairness, he learns justice.
Children learn what they live. Children live what they love. Teach them to wait, to love in their heart. They will find love in the world.
If a child lives with security, he learns to have faith. If a child lives with approval, he learns to like himself. If a child lives with acceptance and friendship, he learns to find love in the world.
Children learn what they live. Children live what they love. Teach them to wait, to love in their hearts. They will find love in the world. Children.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world, taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. That number is 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. We're streaming live video on the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page. If you're not there yet, log on to Facebook. In the search box atop the page, type DERVAN MALCOLM, and you too will be able to not just hear, but see what's happening in the studios of Power 106 FM. If you do not have a Facebook account, no sweat. YouTube, you don't need to have an account in order to watch us on YouTube. All you need is a smart device like a smartphone, tablet, computer, laptop, desktop, any one of those. Then you're going to need internet connection. More importantly, internet connectivity. And one sure way to test for that is by opening a browser like Google Chrome, for example. And if you're able to browse, it means you're good to go. If not, then you might have a little matter there on your hands to deal with. We welcome those of you tuned in for the first time, those of you who are always tuned in to both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And here we go again. These seem to be the stories of the times. Robberies and fraud and fraudulent conversion and corruption, etc. Here's a story telling us of a former cashier who allegedly stole $340,000 from a micro loan company in St. Catherine, was granted $180,000 bail today. And there is we've been discussing the weather situation a lot and wondering why it is that we have seen moments when there is some indication that there's likely to be some precipitation, some rain or some other form of nature at work, and then nothing happens. So you see the conditions, the atmosphere set up as if it's going to rain, and it stays like that for a while and nothing. So clearly, something is happening to our weather pattern. So there's a story here that is telling us how difficult it is or will be to predict the weather in the Caribbean over the next 3 months. Difficult to predict weather in the Caribbean over the next 3 months. And this is coming out of Bridgetown, Barbados, through the Caribbean Media Corporation. The Barbados-based Caribbean Climate Outlook Forum, CARICOF, today said it may become difficult over the next 3 months to confidently forecast rainfall as the Caribbean transitions into the wet season. In its latest Caribbean Climate Outlook newsletter, CARICOF said that the Pacific may transition into El Niño conditions, while ocean temperatures around the Caribbean are expected to increase to above average. That's the expectation. El Niño, if you're wondering, for those unfamiliar with the Spanish, El Niño is widely used to describe the warming of sea surface temperature that occurs every few years. El Niño, widely used to describe the warming of sea surface temperature that occurs every few years. It has a major influence on climate patterns in various parts of the world, and this makes it difficult to confidently forecast rainfall as the Caribbean transitions into the wet season. Nevertheless, long-term drought concerns are rising in Cuba, while the effects of frequent dry spells across the islands and Belize will likely continue through May or June, with a peak in wildfire potential and Saharan dust intrusions. Those are the warnings coming from CARICOF. That's the Caribbean Climate Outlook newsletter, CARICOF. So we're going to see some surprising weather patterns going forward, it seems. CARICOF said that recurring heat waves are possible in the islands. I'm remembering just yesterday afternoon, after we landed at Norman Manley International Airport, and there were some flight attendants and a couple of pilots looking to cross the road to go to the parking area where their taxis and other vehicles were waiting to pick them up. And I heard them exclaiming, "Oh my God, it's hot. It is so hot." Yes, it's been like that. Now, the potential for flooding, flash floods, and cascading hazards will be moderate, and tropical cyclones may develop as early as May this month. Tropical cyclones may develop as early as this month, the month of May. CARICOF said that during the first 3 months of the year, the Pacific transitioned out of a long-lasting La Nina event. This part of the dry season was more intense than usual in Hispaniola and parts of the Lesser Antilles, resulting in wildfire weather by February or March. And we've had some serious wildfires here in Jamaica, depending on the location. With the Caribbean cool season lasting through March, there was little heat discomfort. The report also said long-term drought is evolving across Cuba, in northwest Puerto Rico and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and might possibly develop at the end of May this year and continue in Barbados, northwest Belize, southern Dominican Republic, Grenada, and southeast Puerto Rico. Short-term drought might possibly develop in western Belize and southern French Guiana by the end of July. So that's the news coming out of CARICOF, which is the Caribbean Climate Outlook Forum. Caribbean Climate Outlook Forum, CARICOF, issuing the latest forecast and alerting us to the fact that it may become difficult over the next 3 months to confidently forecast rainfall as the Caribbean transitions into the wet season. So let's all be mindful of these things as we go about our business. What is this now? Oh dear, another bill rising. Water bills to rise this month. Why? That's another story trending on the Gleaner's website, jamaica-gleaner.com. Consumers will pay 5.1% more for their water bills this month, following an annual rate adjustment granted to the National Water Commission, NWC. In March, the NWC applied to the Office of Utilities Regulation, OUR, for an annual adjustment. The adjustment will reflect on customers' bills in May this month. The OUR said it took into account changes in the price adjustment mechanism, PAM. That's one PAM I don't want to meet, which affects inflation, foreign exchange rates, and electricity costs to the NWC. These PAM adjustments are applicable to customers' 2023 April consumption, which will be reflected in their 2023 May bills. And that's the story with respect to water. So even in the midst of all the other challenges, we're having to brace ourselves for an increase in water, as far as our water bills are concerned. Back in the day, we used to use the term water rate, as opposed to water bill. Maybe the lingua or lingo is evolving. All right, so those are a couple of the stories. As usual, we like to share with you the trending stories. And there's news that the health ministry's systems are facing increased cyber attacks. What does that tell us? What are we supposed to read from that? Because surely you would have employed professionals and people who are trained and certified to set up these systems in such a way that when the hackers try to infiltrate the systems, there are some there are some walls that are protecting the system. But here's the story. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Dunstan Bryan, has reported increased cyber attacks on the ministry's information systems. So we'll have to go beyond that or behind that to find out why. Why is the Ministry of Health's information system being targeted? The story goes on. The ministry's software protection system has managed to fend off the cyber attacks and prevent any form of breach. Well, that is reassuring. We hope that will remain the case for a long time to come. And the rest of the story, responding to a query during Tuesday's meeting of the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament, Bryan reminded lawmakers that there was a recent cyber attack on the Southeast Regional Health Authority, SARA. He said that SARA was able to manage the risk and restore its email system that was affected. Well, it just means you have to be nimble, you have to be on your toes, and you have to ensure that you are one step ahead of the hackers. After all, that's your job. So over to you, those who have responsibility for such matters. In the meantime, shall we say hello, good afternoon, and welcome to those who have joined us online, those who are watching and listening. Thank you very much for tuning in. Ricardo in Glengoff, St. Catherine, good afternoon to you. Hello to Inez Iona Campbell in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Good afternoon. Norman Hines in St. Thomas, welcome. Joan Edgehill in Central Florida says, good afternoon, everyone. Greetings from Florida to you too, Joan Edgehill. Michael from Belle Plaine in Clarendon says, greetings to you, teacher, to you and your listeners. And I'm here home watching you on Facebook. How was your trip? Quite hectic. And it actually rained every single day. So from making the journey from JFK Airport, going through New Jersey and on to Philadelphia, it was rain, 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 rain. Rain Wednesday, rain Thursday, rain Friday, rain Saturday, rain Sunday, and then eased up. Well, up to the time we were leaving New York. So it was the first in a little while that I was experiencing rain virtually every day for about 4 days or so. And the athletes were running in the rain at the Penn Relays as well and did very well. They did very well. Let's see, also messaging us. This looks like Sherry South Time. Sherry South Time, how are you? I think I did greet Sherry South Time at some point. Where was I? At some point we did. And She says, great to have met you at Pen Relays on Saturday. Same here, Sherry South time. Look forward to seeing you again. Faye Weller, good afternoon. Thanks for tuning in. Junior Jabari says, good afternoon, Dervan. Welcome back. It's now overcast in the friendly city. That's Montego Bay. Let's see if it will rain eventually. I won't hold my breath on that one, but stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. Let's see how it goes as we try to clear these messages. Thank you for your message, Junior Jabari. Sharon Paris Chambers says, greetings, Dervan. This is the Rose of Sharon, author and fan. The weather is taking center stage on the island, and we must take care. Thank you for this important weather forecast. You're welcome, Sharon Paris Chambers. And greetings, June. How is Florida? Asks Sharon Paris Chambers in a running conversation here online. And hi, Sherry. Dervan is unforgettable in outside broadcast. So welcome to this space. LOL. You're too kind, Sharon. Joan Edgehill says, hi, Sharon. It's sunny and beautiful today. Cherry Henry says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan. Welcome home. Enjoy your afternoon. Thank you, Cherry Henry. All the very best. Sharon Paris Chambers says, it is so here too, just hot. It is a perfect day for the beach, she says. Ina Zayona Campbell says, and it's still raining here also. Very cold weather forecast. And Sharon Paris Chambers says, you were in Penn State. Indeed, we were, Sharon Paris Chambers. Thank you very much for making it both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Good afternoon to Sean Chambers as well. He says, welcome back to Jamaica. How are you doing? I'm fine, thanks. Thank you very much for asking. All the very best. Continuing with more here on your program, both sides of the story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Cleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And we see there's an upcoming event here, the launch of the UK Black Church Manifesto, and there are Jamaican men and women of the cloth who are involved. That's a very, very active church community, very, very active in the United Kingdom. So we look forward to getting the latest on that. And we also have a couple of interviews lined up for you with respect to health and related matters. We have some brilliant youngsters who are going to be joining us a little later on. And this is in relation to the oratorical contest, the Optimist International Caribbean District Oratorical Contest. We have the winners, and we're going to be speaking with them a little later on. And we also are looking forward to talking about asthma because it's one of those conditions that is usually in the spotlight in this month of May. So that is coming up as well with Dr. Melody Ennis, Director of Family Health and Focal Point for Vaccination. Looking forward to that conversation. And let's see. Right, so those are a couple of the topics that we're going to be covering. In the meantime, though, the lines remain open, 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. That number is 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. 876-922-4112-5 are the regular numbers to call. 876-922-4112-5. And one of the stories that we like to tell has to do with the... All right, we'll come back to that in a moment. Let's go to the phone lines. 876-922-4112-5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
I'm Malcolm.
Greetings.
Greetings, yeah. We just enjoying the program, you know.
Thank you. Happy to hear that.
Yeah, well, when you talk, man, you just listen on, and you just like to hear you, 'cause you come like, you know, several different languages, you just match the world, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. You see, when I check about still, you know, the Blue Mountain coffee, you know, the price is not right, you know, but I like to check it out to me, you know.
What is the price these days for Blue Mountain coffee?
$10,000.
Per box?
Yeah. But when you check it out, you know, one box of coffee when you process it, you get 8 pounds out of it, you know. And a pound of coffee up here, you can get it for less than $5,000. So 5 years of 40, so when you give it $10,000. And plus we have...
But it sounds like you want more. You're calling for more.
Yeah, around 15 if you get, what I say, the high expense, you know, kind of, where I say 90, so around 2016 also was getting $12,000 box, you know, and from 2016 until then drop it right down to $3,000 and thing, you know, until then take time and come up and bring it back up at $10,000. But when I get $12,000, you could have get a bag of fertilizer for $3,000. Now it's $18,000 for a bag of fertilizer, you know.
That sounds like quite a lot.
Yes, so I have more expense on it still, so I would have liked the minister to get to meet with his so I didn't come to office, you know, meet with the coffee growers, you know.
So how is the price of coffee determined? Who sets that price?
Well, there is a coffee board and Jacqua, man.
Oh.
Coffee board and Jacqua, you know, them set the price and mash up the business, you know, 'cause since 2000 come here, you know, we have five agricultural minister. But it's only one of them good, and it's Raja Clark. The rest simply a blind turn, a blind eye man and Blue Mountain coffee, and stuff like that. The product is scarce, 'cause most of the farmers don't come out of it, you know.
So there haven't been any meetings between the coffee farmers and the buyers?
No, some Cobra coming, you know, that no meeting from none of them, you know. From Cobra coming, because we don't have a general agriculture meeting we used to have a them, you know. And when you check it out, all the rich man, you know, the cost them come out to take a lower price. Now, we, the small grassroots farmer, keep the thing going, and the produce itself scarce, you know. Because if you travel up in the hills, Mr. Malcolm, I see the amount of farm with through circa low payment.
So how is that affecting the farmers?
It affects most farmers, you have farmers like me, you know, so well, yeah, me have to keep my things going. But enough man come out, even the money man, them weighing out, when they need money man, rich man, and then come out, call lower price, and 20, where that's it. So from 20 waves, and then cut the price. Enough of the man they walk out, enough of the farm.
From they cut the price, the man them cut.
Yeah,
Hold a moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
245.
Farmers, you are our food heroes. And for Farmers Month, H&L Agro is giving back to you. Save up to 40% on selected items until April 30th. Shop at any of our 6 stores island-wide for special Farmers Month discounts on selected seeds, pesticides, fertilizers, tools, equipment, and more. That's the H&L Agro Farmers Month sale from now until April 30th. Shop at any of our stores in Brownstown, Kingston, Mandeville, Montego Bay, Ocherius, and Southfield. Conditions apply.
Every time my son send the liquor barrel for me, I have to go sit down and walk all day like me have nothing else to do. No, sir, you no fear do this.
Tired of spending all day at the wharf to clear your barrel?
Driver, turn up that the little bit for me there.
Starting May 1, use contactless clearance to clear your non-commercial shipments and avoid the long wait. Call Jamaica Customs today at 876-922-51408 or email contactlessclearance@jca.gov.jm.
But God goody, me I go call customs and learn about the contactless clearance. Hook me up.
Less waiting, more convenience. Try Customs contactless clearance today. He learns to be patient. If a child lives with encouragement, he learns confidence. If a child lives with praise, he learns to appreciate. If a child lives with fairness, he learns justice.
Children learn what they
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm, and we're taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. Let's go back to the caller online. So, right, so you're saying what? A lot of the, even a lot of the well-off
Yeah, man, all the way to man, let me come out, man.
stakeholders have jumped ship.
Yeah, man, if you come see the amount of coffee land we go cut out, man, when 2,000 when they come in the mountain, at big things, you know. And now it's cut out like a low price then.
So what is happening to the coffee now then? What? People are just scraping it up and dumping it?
No, man, it's the farm them dead out.
Oh. So what would have caused that? We lost him? Sorry, with the call dropped. Sorry about that. Let's continue with more on your program, both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Dervan.
Good afternoon.
TT, man.
Welcome.
I'm going to send you in the diaspora as ambassador for Jamaica.
You're too kind.
I'm not kind, I'm just being practical. But now that we are working on the Constitution,
yes,
I want to draw you down that line. I feel that the Senate, we should restructure the Senate so that people from the diaspora could have at least 3 people from the diaspora that sit in the Senate.
How would that work?
Why? Well, with technology, you don't have to come in all the while. You can go online.
Okay.
And the reason I say so, when I hear you, the way I hear you talking at Philadelphia, you know, man, it seems like more people in there than Kingston. So, and these people, when you look at the money they send back when people back in Jamaica, the diaspora sending a lot of money. It was the second largest the largest foreign exchange earner
Yes.
because there was no tourists at that point in time, and they were always there for us.
Well,
So
what
now,
about those who say that it can't be that we are the ones living here and our brothers and sisters are overseas making decisions on our behalf, yet we are the ones who are having to deal with everything that we're dealing with in Jamaica?
but then the reason why I'm saying this, they may see things from a different point of view. So um, the thing is that we cannot say, oh, we are taking their money and they can't make decision, and the way the corruption that is in our country now, probably we need a eye from outside to help us.
Yes. And I hear you, but
You know,
there might still be those who are saying, but hold on there. Uh, Fine, you're spending money in Jamaica, or you're sending money to Jamaica, and it's contributing to the economy, just as other Jamaicans who live right here in Jamaica spending their money and investing in Jamaica. So they're perhaps wondering what's the big deal.
but you know that to think of it, we may just have more people living abroad
Mm-hmm.
than we have more Jamaican living abroad than living here.
Yes.
So why they shouldn't be represented in our Senate? And some of the two parties name people today, and the person in government always have that advantage, and this will probably balance the thing.
You think the diaspora could be the third voice, so to speak?
Of course, and when you look at the level of corruption that happens there, and when you look at some of the things that people from abroad, when they speak to you, speak about, and you feel embarrassed because sometimes they know some of the things abroad that we here don't even know, because some of their family are top civil servants.
So how will they be chosen? How will the three senators be chosen? The three diaspora senators?
I would allow them to work it out. We could take two from US, one I would go for four, one from Canada and one from England.
Two for the US, one from Canada, one from the UK.
Yeah, they must work out who they choose, who they think will represent them well. I wouldn't get into how they choose them. They would have to choose them, but the Senate could structure that way. And I think that if we structure the Senate, we would ensure that when, for instance, the Caribbean Court of Appeal, because the JLP choose not to vote for it, even though we contribute so much money to the Caribbean Court of Appeal, we don't use it. And it's years to contribute those money. We were the biggest contributor. You ever think of it? That you ever look into that? And yet still to get a case to the Privy Council in Britain, you need a visa. Because if you don't have a visa, even if you have a case there and you don't get a visa, you can't even go and listen to your own case.
Well, all of that is supposed to be a thing of the past if we are to do away with the monarchy and related matters.
No, but what the government is saying, that they are ready to change the monarchy, but they are not bringing the Caribbean Court into appeal yet.
Or the government has said as much?
Yeah, man. And then remember that in order to change the royal, you'll have to go to a referendum. But to have the Caribbean Court of Appeal don't need a referendum. It's just that the senator, the JLP senator, would vote for the change. And remember that the present Prime Minister, and people think I'm hard on him. I don't hard on him as usual. But remember, he and his senators, they have to, in order for him to name them as a senator, they did have to sign a letter that they would not vote for the Caribbean Court of Appeal. And remember, the Caribbean Court of Appeal.
Caribbean Court of Justice.
Yeah. Caribbean Court of Justice. And remember, the one case we have was when the lady that goes to Barbados.
Yes, I remember that one.
And they ruling in
her favor.
And the lady collects some money. So, I don't see the hurry they're trying to change the Constitution. And when I look at the present Prime Minister and King Charles, I know some issues that King Charles is on. From he was a prince, like climate change. You know that he was one of the big supporters of climate change. And when you look at the Republican in America, they tell you don't know there's nothing like climate change. So that is to tell you that King Charles is even more advanced. But I'm going to tell you one that I would like you to think of. We were always to choose the Chief Justice, and the British had never ever named us a Chief Justice with any animosity. The present Prime Minister said that the Chief Justice should act. How could they? So you would have a man like that choose a president for you? If you could, I won't. And if the PNP, which I support, ever say they're going to record like what they do with the Governor General, I am one of the persons that is going out there to campaign to say, no, let King Charles stay. Because I think that in order for, we don't need a Governor General just doing ceremonial things. We need a president that creates a balance between the people in Parliament and the MP. I want, when I elect a MP, I elect him to represent me at my constituency level and make laws. I don't necessarily want him to be a minister. So if we could have a president and the Prime Minister choose his cabinet, and I would like to say, for instance, people like mayors. If you're a mayor of the whole parish, you have to sign up. If I want to make a house, the Prime Minister, the mayor will have to see to sign on a lot of the things so that I can get my house passed. And then I don't see why you should let the party that lead just choose somebody and say they are mayor. I think the mayor should campaign and everybody, and he should know the whole parish and tell people, what am I going to do to improve your parish? And then we vote for him. If it's 10 people going up for mayor, we vote for the one who we think has the best.
Okay.
And I see it that way. I don't want to drag you. I have never taken on.
No, you're putting an issue on the table. That's fine. That's normal.
You know. But I always take on the more cultural side.
Well, what is culture? Culture is a way of life.
Yeah, man.
So everything is included.
Yeah, man. I was telling Jesse. I speak to Jesse, and we were talking about Watson Park Road. I tell him that the day that I was talking to you and that I find out that the father of
Yes,
Watson Park.
very, 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 very
I thought
okay. Yes.
we were nearer and
Yeah.
Jesse said you gave him a tour.
Yes. All right. Hold on. We need to take a break. We perhaps could leave it there for the time being.
Because, you know.
All right. All right. Take care.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3 o'clock.
Dr. Jackie Campbell is on call this and every Wednesday evening at 8 with Powering Your Health. Powering Your Health is Power 106 FM. Discussion and interaction this and every Wednesday at 8 p.m. only on Power 106 FM.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. The numbers to call 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Dervan, Malcolm, how are you doing?
I'm giving thanks for life. And you?
I'm great so far, Uncle Derv. I'm here taking it easy. I'm here to, I'm calling, I only calling to hear you. How is your day going so far, Uncle Derv?
Great. And yours?
My day is going great. Uncle Derv, I will give you a call back tomorrow, okay, because I was about to debate about this topic yesterday, but I will debate about it tomorrow, okay?
All right, thanks for the call. The children are up to their usual tricks. All right, thanks for the call. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Here's a call on our text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yes, Mr. Malcolm. Good afternoon again. How are you today?
Good afternoon. I'm fine, thanks. And you?
Okay, I'm good. Now, how would you define this word service? Like, for instance, like JPS said they provide service, and Water Commission said they provide service to residents. How would you define the word service?
I would like to think it's about giving of the best that you can for whomever you can, wherever you can, however you can.
Fine. All right. In 2020, when we had COVID, right? My light was cut off, and it was about 6 months. It was cut off about 6 months, and during that 6 months, bills still keep coming. Not the normal light bill, but they send like $750 every month, even though I didn't have any service. And when I asked them what this $750 for, they say it's for service. And I said, what kind of service? Because I don't have any light. I said, for the past 6 months, I don't have any light. So what kind of service is this? They said it's because the service is still connected to my house. So I said, I do not understand what they are talking about.
Yeah, well, that is pretty much standard. There's something in the background they're feeding back. It must be another device, another listening device in the background. It's feeding back into the system. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. Let's try again. Are you there?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm still here.
Yes, it's pretty standard. The fact that you have applied for electricity, and the company has gone ahead to run whatever lines or cables or cords or other electrical paraphernalia, that there are costs associated to all of that they had to do to, first of all, establish your connection, and secondly, to sustain your connection. So they can argue, and that's what the contract speaks to as well, that this is how it is.
Well, I did not read that into the contract. Maybe it wasn't in fine print.
But what you can do, what you could do, is ask the company to disconnect your electricity for a period of time, whether because you'll be overseas or otherwise, and that should take care of that.
But Mr. Malcolm, the crowd was disconnected. I said for 6 months, it was disconnected. No light at my house. Because they was one who cut it off, because I owed them money. I did owe them money. And so they cut it off, and it was off for 6 months.
Right,
and
but
it was month.
Yes.
Every month. Pardon?
It was still connected anyway, wasn't it?
No, there was
post.
Malcolm, there was no light. There was no light at my premises.
No, but what I'm asking, the posts were still in place, and the cables and the wires that were run are pretty much still in place, even though the lines weren't activated for you to have electricity.
I'm living on a scheme, so the wire was there connected to the post as usual, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because what they're saying nowadays, they have to come to your house to disconnect your light again.
That's right.
And that is not so. So Malcolm, that is not so.
Really?
And I proved that.
But they had to come to your house to put it back on? Because what they also argue is that if it's off for a long period of time, then they'll have to physically come to the location to check the wires again, because they were out for a long time, and so they have to maybe check them again and make some adjustments here and do some form of treatment of the cables and the wires and so on.
Yeah. If there's no light at the premises for 1 year, they say if there was no service for 1 year, then they would have to come send some the inspector to come and inspect the house again before they can put by the light.
Right.
But my light was connected only for 6 months, and as I said, every month it was at $750.
So how did you manage without electricity for 6 months?
Mr. Malcolm, I use candle because all I do nowadays, you cannot steal current again. And that's why I'm saying when they say they can cut it off, they cut it off from wherever. But when the time comes, because I put it on back in 6 months. And when
meaning you paid for the power to be restored?
Yes, after I pay for everything, my reconnection for everything. They could have put it on back from the office. They drove to my house and they go on the light post and they open the thing and then call it the rooster box.
Mm-hmm.
It's about 15 of us that living on my street. They came to the one rooster box and they have to go on the rooster box. And when I asked the contractor, said, then how come they have to go in there? They said they were sending the signal from the office, but something in there was not picking up. And so they have to left and go back to the office, and then they come back to the rooster box before the light could come on. And it's 2 times it happened. And it happened to one of my neighbors and my street here. They might turn it on from the office, but when they have to put it on back, they cannot put it on back from the office. So these millions of dollars that they spend to modify the system, it is still not working.
Well, what you can do is to look at the guaranteed standards. See if you can find the guaranteed standards that are outlined as far as the JPS's operations are concerned. And if you can match those guarantee standards, cross-check those guaranteed standards with what your experience has been like, then that should help you to arrive at a position now to say, hello, you have failed on this count. You didn't do, you were supposed to do that. You promised you would do this. You didn't do this. And the JPS will then have to, all things being equal, the JPS will have to pay you for failing to following through on the guaranteed standards.
That might take a decade. You know, one more quick point. That might take a decade for me to go and bring it. One more quick point. You see, for too long now, this thing has been going on now. We are news on the radio and TV. A police party was patrolling in that era, and they came under heavy gunfire from men, and they returned the fire, and one dead or two dead. Now, what I'm saying, I'm not saying that they don't have any notorious man out there. You know, they have man out there that will fire the police. But for too long now, and most of the time, I don't even see them find any gun, because if a person fired at the police, you know, and they return the fire and that man dead, forensic report can show where the man fired the gun, you know, because there's some gunpowder residue most on that person's hand, or most on that person's shirt, or even the pant that person wore at that time. And I've never heard them say why any report where they investigate and find that that person really fired that gun.
Yeah, well, they have
the car that the police them drove. Sometimes the car that they drove not in have a scratch or a dent, but they say they come under heavy gunfire. Mr. Malcolm, let me give you a short story what I saw happen one time. Right in Montego Bay here, in Green Pants, district Green Pants. Some years ago, I'm going to say some years, it's more than 4 years ago that now. A young man was in the community that he wasn't behaving, he was a troublemaker. Troublemaker, and they couldn't really catch him down there. And one night I was out by there, this little screen Green Pants there, some other colleague, and we saw the jeep coming up, approaching the square, and the young man, he get up and he ran. And he ran towards the Green Pan School cottage. And they gave chase. And I hear a couple rounds. And when I looked this, I saw them bringing back the young man out back into the street. Right? Now, the next day, we heard it on the news the next day. And your station there, RGR, that police party was patrolling in the Green Pan area. And they came up on a group of men who opened fire and they returned the fire. And one was shot and injured. Mr. Malcolm, not like that.
So you witnessed all of that?
Mr. Malcolm, I was there.
Mm-hmm.
I was there when it happened. Not like that. But what I'm saying, this thing is going for too long already. Shoot out. Everything is shoot out. Shoot out. What I'm saying, I'm not saying that we don't have good man out there who would want to attack the police. But what I'm saying, we never shoot out. They must come with some clean report, no man. Because the forensic fight to find out if the man did fire a gun for you. And they must produce the weapon also.
Well, they're supposed to have one of those high-tech facilities now, one of those labs, forensic labs, where they are able to do all of that and more. And they have some tools, some fancy tools as well that they can use. Why would they not want to use those tools in order to solidify their position or their case?
But I'm not hearing that they're really using it. They have it, you know. I know that they have the tool out there and they have all the forensic people there, but they're not using it. You know, you see, as I said, you know, some of these men they might be wanted, but that maybe they can catch him on the act. So they just kill him and say, well, a shootout, and everybody just accept it and swallow it, and that's it. Because the man was a bad man from long time. Just like that guy in Green Pan there. He was a troublemaker.
We're going to have to leave it there. Sorry. We're up on another break.
Yeah, man, no problem.
Thanks for the call.
Yeah, man.
All right, take care.
Yeah, man. Yeah, good.
Bye-bye.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:15.
Both sides of the story.
Do you have a title for your land? Are you thinking about buying or selling land? How much is your property worth? Tune in to Both Sides of the Story with Dervan Malcolm on Power 106 FM every last Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. for The NLA and You, a program that examines the National Land Agency's role in building an efficient and transparent land titling system for Jamaicans. That's The NLA and You on Both Sides of the Story with Dervan Malcolm every last Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. The National Land Agency. One agency, one goal, committed to serve you better.
He learns to be shy. If a child lives with shame, he learns to feel guilty.
Children learn what they need. Children live what they learn. Teach them to wait, to love in their hearts. They will find love in the world.
Hello. Welcome back. Hi, thanks.
Child lives with security.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world, taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. Let's see if we can clear some of these WhatsApp messages right now. Where does this start? Let's see. Good afternoon. How are you? Do you know anyone who works at the LAMP, which is the land office in Jamaica? Really need to talk with someone. Call the number, not getting anyone. Long wait finishing my credit. Well, we're sorry to hear that. Let's see. Let's see if we can get a representative from the National Land Agency who will be able to assist you. We just forwarded your message or messages to Nicoy Young, and we're going to now send the contact information for the person who is seeking to get some assistance here. So we're going to forward this message now. And sharing the contact information now with Nicoy Young. And let's see if you can get any assistance there. Please keep us updated. And that's today. Okay. All right, let's do this. Right, so we'll fill you in once we get further updates from Nicoy Young. We will let you know. And if you get any feedback before we do, then by all means, we can, or we can take it from there. We can definitely take it from there. There's so many messages popping up, and congratulatory message here from Sharon Smith of the Jose Marti Alumni Association New York chapter, congratulating Alexander Shaw on his Governor General Achievement Award. Congratulations. And apparently he went to Jose Marti Technical High School. So Sharon Smith is over the moon because she too went to Jose Marti Technical High School. Congratulations to the young man. Also coming through on our line 876-365-3346, our WhatsApp line, same as the text line. Quite a few messages coming in as a link. So Ebenezer, this is for the Ebenezer Rehabilitation Center, who wants us to tap on something here. All right, we'll do that in due course. You can't imagine how many messages we're having to go through here. James in East London, sending us the usual collection of stories from the UK. Thank you very much, James. Miss Hermin, otherwise known as June, in Oslo, Norway. Good day to you. She says, good evening, listening as always. The weather is very difficult to predict here in Norway too. It's like summer today and winter tomorrow. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Miss June. Please stay safe. Miss Evadne now. Evadne White says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Welcome home. Hope everything is great with you and all at Power 106. Big up to all in class and enough love. God bless. Blessings to you too, Miss Evadne. Cuban in Georgia says, good afternoon, Sir Malcolm. How was your trip? Fine. All went well. As a top diaspora man, 3 observations I want you to pay attention to, especially in the United States: accommodation, transportation, and bathroom facilities, and the food preparation. And I must agree with TT for the first time, the CCJ must be our final court of appeal in the new constitution debate, says Cuban in Georgia. Thank you. Let's go to the phone lines once again, 876-922-4112-5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Hello, good afternoon, my Professor Malcolm.
Good afternoon.
Welcome back, Mr. Malcolm.
Thank you.
I saw you on the YouTube.
Yes.
You did a lot of work at the Penny.
Indeed, it was a lot of fun.
A lot of interview.
Yes.
Mr. Malcolm, you get special interview training and that skill that you develop as you go along?
That's a very good question. I have not been trained as a journalist no, I haven't been so trained. Remember, well, I don't know if you've heard the story that I tell.
You tell me 2 times.
Right. So they said I didn't pass the Carimac test, so I didn't get into Carimac. the Caribbean Institute of Media and Communication, or as they used to say back then, mass communication. And so I had to do something else, so I chose French. So, yeah, so everything else is on the job, because I started while I was in sixth form at Calabar. So everything else is on the job training.
Mr. Malcolm, one of my tutors at Jamaica College, he told me that experience is the greatest teacher.
Indeed, it is.
Yeah, and one of the things that I noticed when you're doing your interview, you look straight at the person and you listen carefully what they say, and then you talk. And if the person wants to talk something, you stop and listen to them.
Yes, that is key, because whomever is the subject, whomever is the interviewee, you want to make sure that that person gets to express himself or herself as best as possible. And again, it depends on the nature of the interview.
Well, on the interviewee, that is the person you interviewing.
Yes.
You want to hear what they're saying clearly. Very good, Mr. Malcolm.
Yes.
Mr. Malcolm, you know Jamaica has reached a turning point.
Tell us about it.
No, when Sam Sharp took up his cutlass and started the Christmas rebellion, you know Sam Sharp was a favorite slave of his slave owners. He was a privileged slave.
True.
But he was one of the few slaves who could read and write and teach back people, you know.
That is so.
Yeah, that's just like what you do now, because I learned a lot from you, Mr. Malcolm. And I've never even seen you face to face or touch you or shake your hand. And I learned so much from you. When Sam Sharp took up his cutlass and did the Morant Bay Rebellion, that was what led to the Constitution of Jamaica eventually in 1962. People dead. A rebellion brought up the Constitution from England. Now you believe, the government now, we are the interviewee. And the government now of Jamaica, led by Andrew Wallace and his cabinet, they are the interviewer. And they're not listening to the Jamaican people's voice to know that the whole constitution has got changed. Before we can accept what they're doing up there, they can't interview. Mr. Malcolm, a revolution going to happen in Jamaica. Let me clarify something for the people. One of the fundamental difference between a revolution and a rebellion is that people die in a rebellion, but they don't have to die in a revolution.
True.
So when we say revolution, it does mean a great change of how we do things.
Yes. And
let me tell you why I say that, Mr. Malcolm. Look at a man like you, Mr. Malcolm, how eloquent you are, and how effective you are, and the rapport that you get from the diaspora. They love you over there. You take plane like taxi for people to listen like you, and most of your work is on the job. Then you believe they can bring up a president to govern the Jamaican people in this changing world. We are in wars and rumors of war, and that person do have certain skills, even good communication skills, Mr. Malcolm. You think that is fair?
Well, not fairness is quite subjective, and it depends on who is being impacted or who is asking the question. But the hope is that those of us who are supposed to be fair by virtue of our position or duty that we've been called upon to deliver, would like to hope and trust that they are in fact fair.
Yes, and they must be able to think on their feet, invent things like how you invent things on your program and make it work. Because you never have a dull program, you know, Mr. Malcolm.
Well, we try.
Now I'm telling you, you never have a dull program yet. And you're innovative, you're innovative and you take time, that president that they're going to put up over us, which we have to work and support till them dead, with guarantee pension till them dead. And when them dead, we still have to give them state funeral and all of these lavish lifestyle. That person must be giving us value for money in this time, don't you think so?
That's a solid note. Can we leave it here for now? Because we have a couple of scheduled interviews, please.
We continue, Mr. Malcolm. You're a blessing to us and the diaspora.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Take care.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Help us protect Jamaica's borders. Tell us about any illegal guns coming through customs controlled areas. Call Crime Stop at 311. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
3:30.
All you'll ever need to know about agriculture in the 21st century, packed into one program. Farm Talk with Alpha Mackenzie. Farm Talk, showcasing cutting-edge agricultural products, services, and practices. Farm Talk, keeping focus on issues affecting the farming community. Farm Talk, stimulating discourse to propel agriculture as a national tool for development. Farm Talk with Alpha Mackenzie, the farmer's best friend.
When I listen to you in the mornings and the way you interview the people so that us as farmers can really understand, you break it down, it's really powerful.
Wake up to Farm Talk, weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM app.
If a child lives with praise, he learns to appreciate. If a child lives with fairness, he learns justice.
At the start of the program, we did go through a long list of observances for the month of May. Well, today is World Asthma Day. Yes, today, the 2nd of May, 2023, is World Asthma Day. And we have invited a very special guest to talk us through, to take us through all that we need to know about asthma and related matters. And so we are in just a moment going to say good afternoon and welcome to our guest at this time, Dr. Kathy Williams. Good afternoon, Dr. Williams. How are you?
Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. I am well, thank you. Good afternoon, Jamaica.
Wonderful.
Happy World Asthma Day.
Indeed. Happy World Asthma Day to you too. And let's go straight to it because we have a lot of ground to cover. Can you speak about the significance of this day, World Asthma Day? Why do we have a World Asthma Day? What is the theme for World Asthma Day?
Sure. Thank you so much. So asthma is one of our non-communicable diseases. This means that it is not contagious, but it's pretty common globally, and it's pretty common in Jamaica. Globally, it's the most common non-communicable disease among children, and of course, it affects both children and adults. This year, the theme from the Global Initiative for Asthma is Asthma Care for All, and the Ministry of Health and Wellness has aligned with this theme this year. And we've added the hashtag Breathe Free, and we want to say that medication and treatment and care for asthma is available for all Jamaicans through the public and the private sectors. And we want to stress the importance of care for asthma. Patients have a role in their care as well. They are encouraged to keep to the treatment plans that their healthcare providers give to them. They're encouraged to take their medications as prescribed. And us and our partners, the National Health Fund, have medications available for the people of Jamaica to be able to utilize to manage their asthma.
Mm-hmm. And for those who maybe have a difficulty describing what asthma is, how would you characterize asthma?
Okay, so asthma is a non-communicable disease, which means that it's a condition that can't be passed from one person to the other. It's also a chronic condition. It lasts a long time and it involves narrowing of the small airways in the lungs, as well as increased mucus production. What is actually happening is that there's inflammation of these airways, and the inflammation means that the person who has these symptoms is at risk of having issues with their breathing at that point in time, because the flow of air, the flow of oxygen through the lungs, has been affected in that moment. So symptoms include cough, wheezing, shortness of breath, and chest tightness. Not all of them may happen. Not all of them may happen at the same time, but these are the symptoms that occur. And when these symptoms become severe, this is referred to as an asthma attack. All right? And so the diagnosis of asthma is normally done by a healthcare provider.
How big a problem is asthma globally?
Globally, asthma, as I mentioned, is the most common chronic disease among children. In 2019, the most recent data that we have from the World Health Organization, 262 million people were affected by asthma. And I think about the population of the world. And asthma had caused 455,000 deaths globally. And here in Jamaica, studies have been done. And so the most recent study with over 2,000 children showed that among private households, almost 1 in 5 children had current wheezing, and 1 in 6 had self-reported asthma. So they were essentially reporting that they had been diagnosed with asthma by a doctor. 1 in every 6 of the 2,000 children, and 1 in 5 had current wheezing. So asthma is an issue globally. Asthma is an issue in Jamaica. And we want to say, as the Ministry of Health and Wellness, that care is available and care is accessible for all the persons who need it.
Can asthma be treated?
Asthma can definitely be treated. The specialists will say that the severity of asthma will vary from person to person. And so the assessment with your nearest healthcare provider is the first step. There are tests that can be done, or questions that can be asked to assess the severity of your asthma in terms of symptoms, how frequent these symptoms are, how often you have to go into the emergency room for your symptoms. And with that assessment, a treatment plan can be made for an individual. There are a number of asthma medications. There are inhalers, there are tablets, there are mists. The inhalers can be powders. They can be the meter-dose inhaler or the pump that persons are used to. And so the healthcare provider makes that treatment plan for that particular individual. The person sticks to that plan, and the person goes to their regular appointments for any adjustments that need to be made. The question comes up, Mr. Malcolm, can I grow out asthma? And that's pretty controversial.
And I'm going to make a comment on that as well, but go ahead.
Sure. So in the truest sense, the answer is no. Specialists will say as well, asthma is not curable, but it can be controlled. So what tends to happen in some cases, persons may find that they don't have as frequent asthma attacks, which is that their tissues are growing, their immune system is developed further, and so they aren't affected as often with asthma attacks. But there is always that risk for an individual who has been diagnosed with asthma to have another asthma attack. And, we can talk a little bit about triggers, such as, respiratory tract infections. If somebody has a cold and they find that they're wheezing, dust, cockroaches are implicated as well. Dust, pollen, smoke from air pollution, etc. All of those can trigger asthma. So we just need to be cognizant that though we may be asymptomatic or not having any symptoms for years and so on, we just need to be aware that that risk is there, and we keep in touch with our healthcare providers to ensure that our control is optimized.
Yeah, because many years ago, it was around Christmas time, many years ago, and I was painting my mother's house.
Oh, yes.
Yes, and that triggered something, and it was suspected to have been an asthma attack, but that was the first and only time in my life that something like that ever happened.
Strong smells and perfumes are noted triggers for asthma attacks as well. So that would make sense. If it is that you were indeed diagnosed with asthma and it wasn't something else, that can indeed be a trigger for asthma, the strong smells and perfumes.
Mm-hmm. And now, with respect to I think we're on to, based on what we've just talked about, some risk factors, essentially. What are the others?
Okay, so there's a family history of asthma. The mom or dad may have had asthma, or genetic predisposition, meaning that there are genes within you that put you at risk of asthma. Exposure to tobacco smoke. We talk a lot about tobacco smoke. World No Tobacco Day is coming up on
31st.
Right? And we'll be commemorating that. So tobacco smoke is implicated in a number of conditions, and exposure to tobacco smoke is indeed a risk factor for asthma. And then if we have history of the sinusitis, the conjunctivitis, those conditions with the inflammation of the eyes, the sinuses, and the nose, that as well is a risk factor. And another risk factor is being overweight as well, and the whole physiology of that.
Right.
That affects our airways. So those are some of the risk factors for asthma that we bear in mind. It's always good to know about your family history so that you can know your risk or lack of risk and have the necessary discussion with your healthcare provider.
So the matter of whether you grow it out or not remains a moot point.
It's not grown out in the truest sense. It can be controlled. Some persons may not have symptoms for a very long time and they recur. But we want to be aware of our triggers, and we want to be cognizant of the fact that it could happen again, and ensure that we keep our regular checkups with our healthcare providers, that we have the appropriate coverage for management of any symptoms that may occur.
And you did mention medication earlier on. What are some of the ways in which these medications actually work?
Okay, so essentially we talked about asthma, and the basis of asthma being that an individual's airways are narrowed and there's increased mucus, and this is as a result of inflammation. So asthma medications essentially work against this inflammation. They control the inflammation to help prevent attacks or prevent the frequency of attacks, and so they're medications that are controllers or preventers. And then should an asthma attack occur, severe asthma symptoms, there are rescue medications. And so we talk about, for example, the pumps, the metered-dose inhalers that persons use in the midst of an asthma attack to help to relieve the symptoms, to help to open up the airways and allow for better breathing. And then they help with the inflammation that is occurring as well. And so there are different forms. We have the metered-dose inhaler that persons are used to, the pump. They're mixed, they're powders, they're tablets. Persons will be familiar with going to a healthcare facility and getting nebulized. So there's a nebulizer machine that converts the liquid asthma medication into a mix that can be inhaled deep into the lungs to help to settle symptoms during an asthma attack.
And the inhaler seems to be the go-to tool to help to respond to an asthma attack. Is that still the case?
Well, I'll say this cautiously, and when you discuss it with a specialist as well.
Sure.
Asthma should ideally be under control. So the use of the rescue inhaler, the pump, in the midst of an asthma attack should be minimized as much as possible if it is that the person is well controlled. So there are the preventers and the controllers that I talked about. And when we speak with our healthcare providers, they will guide us on taking those medications every day, or as prescribed based on the severity of the asthma to help to control. And so the pumps or the rescue inhalers come in when it is that there is an attack. But if there can be control, then the frequency of attacks should be less. And again, it's a discussion with the healthcare provider to see where you are in terms of your asthma, how severe it is, and what the best treatment is for you at any point in time.
Speaking of treatment, again, I was reading something about a spacer. What's the significance of that?
Okay, a spacer is awesome. And just to say that a spacer can be used by both adults and children. So a spacer is a chamber. It's a tube of sorts, and so it's double-ended, of course. The metered-dose inhaler that I spoke of, the pump, can be inserted at one end of the spacer, and then the other end of the spacer covers the airway. Covers the nose and the mouth. So for children, a mask can be attached to that other end and place of the nose and mouth. And so when the inhaler is pumped or sprayed, then the medication has a clear channel straight through to the mouth and to be inhaled deep down into the lungs. And so that helps in terms of the economy of the medication. There's not wasted within the mouth or at the back of the throat. We really want it to get into the lungs. And for adults, there's a mouthpiece that can be placed at the end that a mask is normally placed for the child. And so the mouthpiece is placed, the medication is sprayed, and so And so spaces are very helpful of medication from an inhaler, particularly the meter dose inhaler, so that it can be properly utilized for inhaler.
One moment, please, and we'll come back to you after the break. Listeners, if you're just tuning in, this is Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, and on this World Asthma Day, we are learning as much as we can from Dr. Kathy Williams from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
If a child lives with hostility,
For any project, ABC Electrical Sales has all your electrical supplies at the best prices. 8 Hagley Park Road, Kingston, 754-3714. The time by ABC Electrical Sales is
3:45.
The Auto World.
It's the only program on Jamaican radio dedicated to the world of automobile. It's the Auto World with Shelley and McLagan. Get news and reviews relating to vehicles and automotive technology. Learn the ins and outs of mechanical operation. Find out how the various stakeholders in the local and international
in the heart, they will find love in the world.
if a child lives with tolerance, he learns to be patient. If a child lives with encouragement, he learns confidence. If a child lives with praise, he learns to appreciate. If a child lives with fairness, he learns justice.
Children learn what they teach them to wait, to love in their heart. They will find love in the world.
If a child lives with security,
Yeah.
he learns to have faith. If a child lives with approval, he learns to like himself. If a child lives with acceptance and friendship,
Thanks for staying with us here on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. It's World Asthma Day, and we're learning a lot from Dr. Kathy Williams. We also have online Dr. Terry Baker. Welcome, Dr. Baker. How are you?
I am great, thank you, and it's great being here.
Good to have you, though the voice seems to be fading. Not sure why. Hello? All right, that sounds better.
Okay.
Right, so then, Dr. Baker, what is your area of specialization?
I'm a pulmonologist, so I deal with diseases and illnesses that will affect the lungs and the chest wall, and I'm also an internist, so I also deal primarily with both acute and chronic illnesses that affect primarily adults. So asthma is one of those areas that I am quite involved with.
Yes. And you, Dr. Terry Baker? I beg your pardon, Dr. Kathy Williams?
Okay, so my specialty is in public health.
Okay, got you. All right, so Dr. Terry Baker, based on your work and experience, how has asthma treatment evolved? I mean, what are some of the findings over the years, and are we getting better at managing it, or are we still where we were 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago?
I think we have made significant strides in the management of asthma. I mean, years upon years ago, asthma was looked up as something that is it's a spirit that somebody has sent upon the person. This is somebody pretending, this is not a real illness. So we've made strides in terms of the awareness of persons and the education of persons to recognize that no, this is not a spirit. That persons who somebody, spirit set upon someone who is having an asthma attack or has asthma. It is not that they are malingerers or pretending to be ill, but asthma is indeed a real and true chronic disease because it will last. Once diagnosed, it is there for years, although someone will not necessarily be having symptoms. And therefore, the education we've made strides, the awareness we've made strides, and in terms of medication and management. So we've moved from using, person taking all sorts of dips and baths into healing streams and all sorts of other concoctions. Not that some of these home remedies may not have helped, and we've moved way beyond using tablets alone to really targeting the area that is being affected by asthma, and these are the lungs. So we have various inhalers that we use, different devices, one to try to prevent an asthma attack, and the second one, in the event somebody is having an attack, and by this I mean an acute worsening or exacerbation of their asthma, then an inhaler to try to relieve it. And the education is also paramount. Identifying triggers, what may set off an asthma attack, how to avoid it, and how persons can better manage their condition.
Yes. And how about Dr. Kathy Williams in the sphere of public health? How do asthma patients get treatment in Jamaica?
Sure. So in the public sector, healthcare is free, and this includes asthma management. So healthcare providers across Jamaica in the public sector and the private sector are trained in asthma care. So anyone with asthma or anyone who thinks they have asthma or who is having symptoms can go into a healthcare provider and get assessed and get treatment for asthma. The medications through drugstore pharmacies in the public sector are free for asthma, as well as all the other medications are free. And in the private sector, medications are available. The National Health Fund provides subsidies for a number of conditions, including asthma. And so individuals who are diagnosed with asthma, who sign up for an NHF card and have completed their NHF card submission and application, can get subsidies and discounts on asthma medications, as well as bases that we spoke about, and masks, which we also spoke about. So medication and management for asthma are readily available here in Jamaica, both in the public and private sector.
And Dr. Terry Baker, how young can someone be diagnosed with asthma?
So I love that question because asthma respects no gender, no social standing, and definitely no age. We sort of hesitate to diagnose an infant less than 2 years old with asthma, although even younger than that 2 year, we may start to see, an infant who may be having recurring colds, cough, wheezing when they have a viral infection, particularly if there is a family history. And while it is that asthma is often thought of a condition affecting children, we do know that no one is exempt, no age. So you do have what we call adult onset asthma as well. Some of these persons may have had asthma undiagnosed or misdiagnosed as a child, may be quiet and now presenting during adulthood, but you really have some adults for the very first time are presenting with asthma, and that diagnosis is being made in adulthood. So no age, from 2 straight up to 100 years old.
Mm-hmm. And beyond. Yes. And on this World Asthma Day, Dr. Kathy Williams, what are some of the ways in which the Ministry of Health has been marking the day?
Sure. Thank you for that question. We started with the Honorable Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton, who had his official message for World Asthma Day in the newspapers today. And you will see our posts as well on social media with asthma facts, including those that we've talked about today. We're also getting into the schools, Mr. Malcolm. Asthma is the most common chronic condition among children. And so these asthma facts are being shared in the schools as we speak. We've partnered with the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information to get this information into the schools for the students and parents and guardians and teachers and the staff to share that message. And we've been sharing the facts. We've been doing media interviews such as these, and we've been just getting the information out there. We partnered with the NHF as well in getting the information out. And we just want the information to be out there that asthma care is indeed available for all Jamaicans. And you can speak with your healthcare provider, speak the time that they give you, and go on to live a long, healthy life.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. Dr. Terry Baker, now in terms of the situation that we've had over the last 3 years or so with COVID-19, have you had the time to disaggregate the data to get a sense of those persons already with certain illnesses like asthma, how they in particular managed or have managed up to now for those who are still with us?
Thank you. That too is a very interesting question, because when we were facing the COVID, and with the COVID virus, the COVID-19 virus, lungs primarily as one of the initial systems to be affected, the respiratory system, there was great concern, and rightly so, for our patients who have underlying respiratory conditions, asthma being one of them. And we do know that asthma is very common. So, there was this great concern that our asthma patients are going to be at increased risk. And right now, as when we look at the data, and there is conflicting data, but generally speaking, our asthma patients, particularly those persons in whom their asthma has been controlled, have fared well. The persons who have asthma and the asthma was controlled going into the pandemic, we try to reinforce among our patients and our healthcare providers, try to ensure that these persons are on their medications, that they're sticking to their action plans, their treatment plans, and that their medication is made available to them, because those persons in whom the asthma is controlled definitely fared better, and their risks, interestingly, were no different compared to the rest of the population, that are not significantly different compared to the rest of the population that did not have asthma. However, for patients in whom the asthma was not controlled, those persons, if they did get COVID, those were the persons who tended to have a more rocky course and a more difficult course in terms of even the acute COVID and beyond COVID. So the message here really is that it is important to have the asthma controlled, and as Dr. Williams has said, medication is available, and the Ministry of Health has gone to lengths along with the NHF to ensure that medication is available and care is available for all. And so if in the instance where we have things such as the COVID or an outbreak of influenza, we want these people to be getting their medication, because we recognize that they do better once they are controlled.
So as we wrap, Dr. Kathy Williams, the word for our listeners, whether asthmatic or otherwise, tuned into both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM, what's the fundamental message or the primary message that you're pushing, and the supplementary message, if any, especially on a day like today, World Asthma Day?
Sure. Asthma care is available and accessible in Jamaica. Speak with your healthcare provider for guidance on the symptoms that you might be having, so you can get a proper diagnosis of asthma. The National Health Fund provides subsidies for asthma care, and so you can sign up for the National Health Fund with a hearing, get subsidies on discounts on medications and respiratory devices from private pharmacies. And these asthma medications are available in the public sector pharmacies. for free. So speak with your healthcare provider, take your medication as prescribed, and hashtag breathe free.
I love it. Well, thank you, Dr. Williams, and thank you, Dr. Baker. It's been quite a learning experience listening to you both.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. Take
My
care.
pleasure.
Bye bye.
Have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.
You too. Take care. Dr. Kathy Williams and Dr. Terry Baker on the subject of asthma on this World Asthma Day. And we want to continue to keep the subject going and increasing our awareness and sharing the information with our family members, friends, colleagues, neighbors, so that we all know what to do when we need to do what we need to do. More in a moment.
If a child lives with criticism, he learns to condemn.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
401 on Power 106.
It's probing.
There has not been a single year since 1974 where the poor has not been oppressed by the state. Precisely.
Spurring action to move Jamaica forward.
I know people are out there screaming, yes, but it's not just this government. I don't cheer. Fix it and stop spinning. Govern, man, govern. Whoever is there.
Featuring the bottom line with Ralston Hyman. The best public affairs banter on Jamaican radio.
Part of the national campaign against inflation, we have to have a shake-up of the public sector boards leading to increased efficiency, cut the corruption and the mismanagement, and get the agencies to function in a more efficient manner.
It's Power Talk, weekdays 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Identifying challenges and finding solutions in a globalized world. Dr. Herbert Gale on Mondays and Tuesdays. Simon Crosskill from Wednesday to Friday on Power 106 FM. Join us. All you'll ever need to know about agriculture in the 21st century, packed into one program. Farm Talk with Althea McKenzie. Farm Talk, showcasing cutting-edge agricultural products, services, and practices. Farm Talk, keeping focus on issues affecting the farming community. Farm Talk, stimulating discourse to propel agriculture as a national tool for development. Farm Talk with Althea McKenzie, the farmer's best friend.
When I listen to you in the mornings and the way you interview the people so that us as farmers can really understand, you break it down. It's really powerful.
Wake up to Farm Talk, weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM app.
There's a retirement crisis in Jamaica, with only approximately 10% of the working population saving towards retirement. Many people do not participate in a formal pension plan, such as contract workers and the self-employed, and some are not eligible for a government pension. Every member of the workforce has the opportunity to participate in a pension plan and secure a monthly income for their retirement. Join Real Business every Monday at 9:30 a.m. for an informative discussion with Peter Rose Hall, Managing Director of BPM Financial, discussing the importance of retirement planning and the solutions to move Jamaica out of this crisis. Retirement wealth creation is brought to you by BPM Financial Limited, taking you higher.
The Auto World.
It's the only program on Jamaican radio dedicated to the world of automobile. It's the Auto World with Shelly Ann McLagan. Get news and reviews relating to vehicles and automotive technology. Learn the ins and outs of mechanical operation. Find out about the various stakeholders in the local and international automotive sectors. From auto finance to road safety to motorcycles, the Auto World is your one-stop shop for everything auto. That's the Auto World with Shelly Ann McLagan. Weekdays at 5:15 p.m. on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM app.
Oh.
Child lives with ridicule. He learns to be
Que hora es en español? Son las 4:05. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:05. 现在几点了？4点05分。5 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now is a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. How about that? Checking in with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And we're anxious to share with you once again the work of optimists in Jamaica and the rest of the region. They've been very busy. The Optimist International Oratorical Contest has as its theme or its topic for 2022-2023, Discovering the Optimism Within Me. Discovering the Optimism Within Me. The Optimist International Caribbean District Oratorical Contest winners are, let's go 3, 2, 1. In third place, Abigail Murphy. She's 14 years old, a student at York Castle High School. Her sponsoring club is the Optimist Club of York Castle. In second place, Daniela Clark, a 17-year-old student of Harrison College. Her sponsoring club is the Optimist Club of Barbados, Bridgetown. And first place, at age 18, a student at the Queen's School. Her sponsoring club is the Sunset Optimist Club of Kingston. And that is Nikita Gordon. Now, I really look forward to speaking with Nikita so she can tell me how she pronounces her first name, Nakiata. Does she say Nakiata or Nikita? We'll find out in a moment as she is on the line, standing by to join us. Sorry, we haven't been able to connect with. Who haven't we been able to connect with? We haven't been able to connect with Governor Craig Kinch. Governor Craig Kinch. And we've been trying. We haven't had any luck connecting. Let's see how that goes for the rest of the time that we have on this subject. So let's bring in Nikita and she can confirm how she pronounces her name. Good afternoon to you. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm doing splendid. How are you?
I am fine, thanks. So let's get the name out of the way first of all. How is your first name pronounced?
Well, I must say that it is pronounced Nikita.
I figured it would have had to have been Nikita, as I said, but I just wanted to make sure because you never know. Stranger things have happened and it could have been Nakiata, but it's Nikita. So it's nice to talk with you, Nikita. Congratulations, first place in the Optimist International Caribbean District Oratorical Contest 2023. Are you still on cloud 9 or you came down already?
Well, I must say that I'm definitely still on cloud 9. Yes. I will be continuing to be on cloud 9 until July the 9th, where I will be heading to the international level.
Ooh, tell us more about that.
Right. So the international level will basically be held abroad, and that is where children from all over the world who have won the district level will come together and compete for the first place prize.
That sounds exciting. And do you have a confirmation as to where overseas?
Yes, I do. It will be held in Missouri.
Missouri. All right. And let's just back up a bit now, though, and talk about this Optimist International Caribbean District Oratorical Contest 2023. What was the feeling going into this competition? What were the expectations? And are you surprised by the outcome?
I must say, I'm definitely grateful for meeting such lovely competitors. They were all amazing. So I wasn't necessarily surprised. It could have been any one of us. But I think going into the competition, I was definitely nervous. I'm not sure if it showed. Hopefully not. But I must say that I was definitely a bit nervous. But I went through and I did what I had to do.
And can you, for the benefit of our listeners who were not in that space that where you delivered your speech, how would you summarize the essence of your speech?
Well, as you know, the topic was based on discovering the optimism within me, and I have had a lot of hardships just as the next person in my life, being that both my parents died when I was younger. And
sorry to hear that. Sorry, go ahead.
Right, and so going through all these stages, I was able to summarize just a little in the speech of how I was able to overcome those challenges and do what I was supposed to do and make the people that I was supposed to make proud along with myself. So that was basically the summarization of the speech.
And in terms of your preparation, how did that go? Did you have a team just constantly working with, or were you on your own putting it all together?
No, I definitely was not on my own. I did have a team, the Sunset Oratorical Club. They were my sponsors, but they were also a big support. My coach, Althea Mackenzie. And
Althea was your coach?
Yes, she was.
That's our colleague, Althea Mackenzie? Oh, wonderful. We're happy to hear that. Oh, lovely, lovely. Well done.
Thank you.
Yes. So give us a sense now of the timeline in terms of what's next. I know you say you're going to Missouri, but in terms of the road to Missouri, is it a case where you continue to prepare, to practice, to think through, to reason, etc., until that day when you have to deliver, when you represent all of us?
Yes, definitely. It will be a road where tweaking and changes have to be made, more practicing, not because I won this level, meaning that there is more work to be done.
And well, let's find out a little more about your schooling. I mean, where are you right now, and how are you hoping where you are now will propel you even further?
Well, as you know, I do attend the Queen School.
I mean, where else? Yes.
One of the best schools in the Caribbean, I must say.
Yes.
This school has helped me tremendously in becoming the young lady that I vision myself being. There are many individuals within this school that has been a role model for me. There are many titles that I hold within the school. I am the student council president. I do have engagement in other clubs and activities, and I believe that being engaged in this and going to the Queen School has helped me tremendously and will continue to help me tremendously on the road further.
That's very good. We're so proud of you already. In terms of your career path, what is that looking like?
I'm looking to be an attorney at law.
All right. Anyone in particular who has inspired that choice?
Well, it's more of been a passion of mine for years now. I'm not sure there is anyone specific that I look up to in terms of law. It's just been something that has been ingrained in me personally.
Oh, that's interesting. One moment, please. Let's take the break and come back, listeners. If you're just tuning in, this is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm, and we are delighted to have with us online the winner of the Optimist International Caribbean District Oratorical Contest 2023, Nikita Gordon, doing much better than I did when I entered years ago. I got a bronze medal. I finished third, actually. But here's Nikita finishing first and making all of us proud. One moment, please.
If a child lives with ridicule, he learns to be shy.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:16 on Power 106.
The Auto World.
It's the only program on Jamaican radio dedicated to the world of automobile. It's the Auto World with Shelly and McLagan. Get news and reviews relating to vehicles and automotive technology. Learn the ins and outs of mechanical operation. Find out about the various stakeholders in the local and international automotive sectors. From auto finance to road safety to motorcycles, the Auto World is your one-stop shop for everything auto. That's the Auto World with Shelly and McLagan. Weekdays at 5:15 p.m. on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM app.
Both sides of the story.
Do you have a title for your land? Are you thinking about buying or selling land? How much is your property worth? Tune in to Both Sides of the Story with Dervan Malcolm on Power 106 FM every last Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. for The NLA and You, a program that examines the National Land Agency's role in building an efficient and transparent land titling system for Jamaicans. That's The NLA and You on Both Sides of the Story with Dervan Malcolm every last Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. The National Land Agency. One agency, one goal, committed to serve you better.
He learns to fight. If a child lives with ridicule, he learns to be shy. If a child lives with shame, he learns.
Que ahora es en español. Son las 4:18. Que le retiro en français les 4:18. Ciencia, TDN, CDN, Sher Ba Fen. 18 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. I'm Dervan Malcolm. The program is Both Sides of the story of Jamaica and Jamaicans at home and abroad. And this afternoon, we've been featuring our outstanding contestants in the Optimist International Caribbean District Oratorical Contest 2023. If you're just tuning in, let's remind you, third place to Abigail Murphy. She's 14 years old. Her sponsoring club is the Optimist Club of York Castle. And then in second place, Daniela Clark. She's 17 years old. Her sponsoring club is the Optimist Club of Barbados, Bridgetown. And first place going to Nikita Gordon at 18 years old. She's, her sponsoring club is the Sunset Optimist Club of Kingston, and she is the first place winner, Nikita Gordon of the Queen's School. And so she's the first place winner, and that means she will go on to the regional and world championship contest to be held at the St. Louis University. That's the St. Louis University Center for Global Citizenship in the United States, and that will be from the 19th to the 21st of July this year. That's not too far away. Congratulations once again to Nikita Gordon. So Nikita, what do the rules say with respect to the speech? Are you allowed to carry over the same speech that brought you victory to Missouri? Will you be able to do that same speech, or it will have to be a fresh speech?
So I would like to believe that based on how the competition is, so from the club level, it is the same speech that you bring to the district level. So I assume that in the international level, it is the same speech. However, you are allowed to do some changes and tweaking.
Mm-hmm. And what can you tell us with respect to your classmates, your schoolmates, and your general school community? How have they responded to this remarkable achievement of yours?
They have definitely been a big support in accomplishing it. And so I must say that they have also been very ecstatic, even more so than I am myself.
Yes. So that's which contest was it? Was it one of the Miss World pageants was it Miss Nigeria? Her reaction was such that you would think that she's the one who actually won. But so you're experiencing similar emotions from the general school community. That's a wonderful thing. I see. And now with respect to your fellow contestants, especially all right, hold it right there. We're going to come back to you in just a moment, Nikita, because we have finally managed to connect with Governor Craig Kinch. Good afternoon to you, Governor. How are you?
Good afternoon. I am well. How are you doing?
I am fine, thanks. You're coming through crystal clear. Are you in Bridgetown, Barbados?
Actually, I'm in Jamaica currently.
Look at that.
I do feel from Barbados, yes.
Okay, wonderful. Can you give us a bit of your background as an optimist?
Sure. So I'm actually a member of the Optimist Club of Barbados, Bridgetown. And I was introduced first to optimism through the same oratorical competition. So I would have taken part in the oratorical competition about 16 years ago. And I would have won the Caribbean District Oratorical Competition. And I find it interesting that Nikita said that she wants to be a lawyer, because coming out of this exercise, I actually believe that is what catapulted me into wanting to become a lawyer myself. And so I am actually a trained lawyer, and I believe that I found my voice in the Optimist Oratorical Competition.
Look at that. Well, that didn't work for me. I did finish I did finish third in the oratorical contest I entered many years ago, and I did have plans to become a lawyer. That was my plan, but somebody saw me and heard me on stage using my voice, and thought that I would enhance a particular commercial for a company in the Cayman Islands, and the rest, as they say, is history. So I didn't get to follow along that path, but clearly I am where I'm supposed to be, wouldn't you say?
I definitely agree. Life has a funny way of working itself out.
Oh, absolutely. So how popular is the maybe popular is not the word. How active is the Optimist Club of Barbados, Bridgetown?
And the Optimist Club of Barbados Bridgetown is pretty active. We have a number of service projects where we reach out into the community. We have a Respect for Law program. We have a program where we work with one of the children's homes in Barbados. We also have adopted a primary school where we provide breakfast as well as meals during the holidays for some of the children that have been identified by the school as being at risk and in need. And we do a number of service projects. I mean, to be quite honest, the Optimist movement throughout the Caribbean is a very hands-on, active movement where we seek to impact the lives of children and young people through our various service projects. And the oratorical competition is just one of the many projects that we execute. It's actually probably our most popular project where the winner has the opportunity to get a scholarship. And at each level from the district, the winner goes on and gets, further scholarships up to a maximum of US, $22,500 in worth of scholarship money. So it is one of our more popular service projects that we do engage in.
I see. And the finals were held here in Jamaica. Is that it?
That is correct. So how the program is structured, it starts really at our club level.
Mm-hmm.
And our clubs choose their representative, and a lot of our clubs have runoffs to be able to choose a representative. And then from the club level, the representative goes on to a zone competition where they compete with other students at the zone level. And then from the zone level, the winner then goes on to the district level. And that is what we had last week, Saturday, our district competition. And as we would have discussed, Nikita would have emerged as our winner from our district competition. And she then goes on to the next level, which is our regional level, where she's going to compete with individuals from across the southern United States. So our region consists of clubs and districts in Florida, in Alabama, Mississippi, and Atlanta. And then the winner of the regional level then goes on to the world competition, where the various winners from each region will come together and they'll compete for a scholarship.
It all sounds exciting, quite frankly. How are you able to do what you do in terms of organizing an event of this magnitude and to sufficiently supply the participants, whether by virtue of their performance or otherwise, with the kind of support necessary for a successful outcome?
It definitely is a team effort. We have a number of optimists who come together and form our oratorical planning committee. And they have been very instrumental in pulling everything together so that we can have a wonderful competition where we had this year 10 participants from across the Caribbean. So we had participants from Antigua and Barbuda, Cayman, Barbados, Jamaica. And they're able to pull everything together to ensure that we have a competition that runs smoothly. And we must mention our corporate sponsors. So we had JN Bank, who would have sponsored us. Mm-hmm. We also had First Caribbean International Bank, who was one of our sponsors, and Hotel Food Supplies in Barbados as one of our sponsors for our program. And really and truly, without our corporate sponsor support, we wouldn't be able to pull off a competition like this.
Yes, indeed. And we want to use this opportunity as we get ready to wrap to allow the winner, that's Nikita Gordon, to perhaps express gratitude on behalf of, gratitude to those members of the Optimist movement who have played their part in terms of supporting, as they have, all the participants, not least of all Nikita. So we'll give you an opportunity to close out this segment for us, please, Nikita, in terms of your regards to those who have played their part up to this point.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. I would just like to say thank you to the entirety of the Sunset Optical Club of Kingston, Oratorical Club rather. I must say thank you to Auntie Karen. She knows herself. My coach, Althea Mackenzie, and every other person who was a really, really big support system for myself. I want to say thank you to my aunt who I live with, my sisters, and my schoolmates who have been really, really amazing in helping me accomplish this.
Very, very well said and well done. Nikita Gordon, 18 years old, a student at the Queen's School, first place in the Optimist International Caribbean District Oratorical Contest 2023. Her sponsoring club is Sunset Optimist Club of Kingston. And you have the last word, Mr. Kinch. Governor? Did we lose Governor?
Sure.
Oh, there you are.
I'm still here. So I definitely want to say congratulations to Nikita, congratulations to all of the contestants. I think this year we had a crop of contestants who made it really hard for the judges to choose the winner. I think when we look at the young people that we are celebrating, especially during Child Month, that we have to recognize that they have a powerful voice, and we must continue to encourage them and allow them to be able to speak and take their place in this world. And hopefully, as optimists, we can continue to encourage all the children and young people out there to continue to bring out the best in themselves.
Very well said and very well done. Thank you so much, Governor Craig Kinch of the Optimist Club of Barbados, Bridgetown. It's been a pleasure. All the very best to you and take care.
And to you as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you again, Nikita. And so there you have it, our winner of the Optimist International Caribbean District Oratorical Contest 2023. I beg your pardon. Well, we're through with this interview. Let's take the break. We're over time anyway. Let's take the break and come back.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:32 on Power 106.
Join Althea Mackenzie during Farm Talk every second Tuesday of each month at 6:18 a.m. for a special feature that provides useful information on the Jamaica Agricultural Commodities Regulatory Authority, JACRA, and the role they play in Jamaica's agricultural sector. This feature is brought to you by the Jamaica Agricultural Commodities Regulatory Authority, JACRA, 1 Willie Henry Drive, Kingston. That's the JACRA special feature every second Tuesday at 6:18 a.m. during Farm Talk with Althea Mackenzie, right here on Power 106 FM.
Children live what they love. Teach them to wait, love in their hearts. They will find love in the world.
If a child lives with tolerance, he learns to be patient. If a child lives with encouragement, he learns confidence. If a child lives with praise, he learns to appreciate. If a child lives with fairness, he learns justice.
Children learn what they live. Children live what they love. Teach them to wait, love in their heart. They will find love.
Y ahora es en español. Son las 5:26. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5:26. 现在7点了，5点加20分。26 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? If not, now's a good time. Good afternoon to all the schoolers listening to us all the students from the early childhood level to the secondary level. Trust you had a productive day of learning today. Hope you also managed to get in some physical activity, just as important as mental activity. As we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable, education makes you trainable, training makes you employable, and the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. And parents and guardians, do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. A good time for us to continue with more here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. We have a couple of interviews to go back to. A caller who's been waiting quite a while. 2241125. Good afternoon. Thanks for your patience.
Good afternoon, Sir Malcolm.
Good afternoon.
Well, as I say, good things are worth waiting on.
Oh, you're very kind.
You meet and exceed that definition. There's a particular thing that I wanted to discuss with you, but the interview you conducted about the respiratory conditions.
Asthma, yes.
Yes. It struck a little bit of a nerve with me because, especially with the COVID,
yes,
probably it would be a good idea to integrate the COVID message with other respiratory ailments like the asthma, because the skepticism that surrounds one might be offset by the actual visible product of the other. If it is that we've gotten to a point where the treatment and appreciation of asthma is so universal that persons willingly go and take their medications and their treatment and so on, maybe there can be a benefit to showing persons that the same individuals who would give you benefit for one would certainly want to give you benefit for the other, and that the conspiracy theory about this desire to harm is completely unfounded.
Yes. No, well, I didn't look at it that way before now. You're onto something.
Yes. Sometimes moving a person from a place where they're comfortable to a place where they need to be comfortable is a good idea. And some of the messaging that has been so negative has really had a damaging effect, even to the point where immunization for kids of school age and so on has plummeted.
Yes.
Because now things are spilling over in the negative, you know?
Yes.
But what I really wanted to bring up today, this constitutional reform, I wanted to share a particular set of experiences that I've had, and to basically say that I think the greatest strength that any individual can have, and correspondingly any community or country can have, is to appreciate what their weaknesses really are. Because at the end of the day, if you know your own limitations, you can work on that to get to a point where the limitation might be overcome. Now, I know that we as Jamaicans are a proud people, and we'd want to think that we're capable of all the wonderful things that a country with a certain sophistication and ability to govern itself should have. But if we're really honest with ourselves, we're not at a point where we can truly say we have the ability to do all the things that are necessary for governance in terms of constitutional reform, where we'd not have an arbiter outside of Jamaica for certain things, especially in the judicial branch. I remember years ago, I had a matter in court involving a then young man who had stolen property from me, namely a motorcycle. And the process that came after the fact, this person had been identified by a witness who was able to provide help to locate the person for my motorcycle to be recovered in a partial state of disassembly. And a court process started. This individual was so determined at at his act of theft, that while the motorcycle was housed at a police station, that police station in an attempt to steal the motorcycle for a second time.
Uh-oh.
I was without the use of my property for more than a year in a court matter. And at the end, the judge basically postponed the case indefinitely, saying that this young man had acted in error. Now, the person in question was extraordinarily affluent. Affluent to the point where, as they say, money is no object.
Mm-hmm.
And his ability to influence the court was on the basis of his family circumstance, the fact that he was born into money, and his family knew members of the judiciary, particularly the judge in the case. I'm not going to go into detail to possibly evoke any sentiment of slander or the like, but the truth of the matter is, we live in a country where, by the process of who you know, you can get things done or you can get things thwarted. And there's so many examples of it. I remember a particular case where a prominent Jamaican businessman was caught red-handed trying to bribe a police officer out of a speeding ticket. And it then involved, or escalated to involve, a minister of government, also at the time and currently a member of the cabinet. And after all the smoke was cleared, a person who was basically on his way to become the commissioner of police, an individual that everybody lauded and said was the ideal candidate to be the head of the constabulary, he was the one who got a criminal conviction for something that he wasn't directly involved in, all because our system allows for manipulation and maneuvering that has nothing to do with the course of justice. So in my opinion, even though I'm a proud Jamaican, I don't believe that Jamaica is anywhere near ready to say that the arbiter of justice should rest solely in the hands of Jamaicans. I look at the case with the gang from Spanish Town, and the police, well, through the luck of the conscience of an informant, was able to have someone come to them and say, the leader of this gang actually is able to call me from prison. And the police were so confident that they had isolated this gang leader that his ability to communicate would have been severely controlled. And they were so skeptical that they were ready to dismiss this potential informant. And at that moment, the same gang leader calls from prison, to the astoundment of the police officers present. And a very strong case was made against that individual and members of his gang. Now, to me, the greatest evidence that you can have against a person is the evidence that they give against themselves. And these police officers had the best possible evidence, the very same gang leader giving orders and instructions for extortion, for murder, and the rest of it. And one judicial personality who thrust himself into the midst of that case, where other persons in the judiciary, in the senior level, they were saying that at least a 3-judge panel should be in charge of the case. And this man on his own decides to be arbiter of everything. And the vast majority of these persons who had tremendous evidence against them, cases were dismissed. And the judge is going to say that the police should have charged the very person who would have brought the gang down because he's a gang member.
Yes, actually, I've heard that. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So at the end of the day, if it is that our judiciary can show what the general public would believe to be serious flaws, why would anyone willingly just say we're going to capitulate and we're going to go into a situation that we're in? It's like a man saying I'm going to jump in the deep end of the pool and he doesn't know how to swim. It doesn't show that you're brave, it shows that you're stupid. I remember a case from donkey years ago where there was a bank robbery in
we're up on a break.
Oh, I beg your pardon, but sorry.
I'll allow you to just wrap when we come back because we're almost out of time.
Okay.
All right, hold on, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45.
The Auto World.
It's the only program on Jamaican radio dedicated to the world of automobile. It's the Auto World with Shelly and McLagan. Get news and reviews relating to vehicles and automotive technology. Learn the ins and outs of mechanical operation. Find out about the various stakeholders in the local and international automotive sectors. From auto finance to road safety to motorcycles, the Auto World is your one-stop shop for everything auto. That's the Auto World with Shelly and McLagan. Weekdays at 5:15 p.m. on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM app.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 5:14. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5:14. 现在几点了？5点加14分. 14 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Good afternoon to all working Jamaicans tuned into both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. It's a good time for us to ask ourselves, how productive have we been today? How productive have we been today? Yes, sir. If we could wrap so that we can squeeze in our two guests that we need to get in before 5.
Okay. There was a case in Montego Bay where there was a bank robbery, and I think either a police officer or a security guard had been killed in the process of that robbery. The two persons who were charged were convicted, and they did their appeals, and all their appeals were rejected here in Jamaica. They managed to get their case heard at the Privy Council, and my understanding was that the first question the law lords there asked was to review the CCTV footage of the robbery. And on doing so, it was evident to everyone present that the persons who had been convicted and were languishing in prison were definitely not the assailants of the bank, the robbers, and the murderer of the police officer, the security guard. So had Jamaican courts been the final arbiter of the matter, those men would still be in prison today. So there are many sides to this equation about constitutional reform, but I think if it comes to a referendum, the Jamaican population should understand that if we surrender the provisions of the Constitution that allow for outside scrutiny, we'll really be in serious trouble. That's my opinion.
We hope it doesn't come to that, but thank you very much for the warning sign or sound.
Thanks, Sir Malcolm, and do have a good afternoon.
You too. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Cleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And we take note of the fact that One Step Forward, International Social Care Services, OSFISCS, in collaboration with the St. Anne Health Department, is, together they're putting on this child-adult mental protection and safeguarding dementia and Alzheimer's hybrid conference workshop tomorrow, Wednesday, the 3rd of May, from 10 in the morning until 4:30 in the afternoon at the Seacrest Beach Hotel in Priory, St. Anne. Limited space available at the venue. You can RSVP attendance in person or call 876-770-1968. And they'll be on Zoom as well, the Zoom virtual attendance, ID 817-08330-573. That's 817-08330-573. and support from VM Group, Power 106, and the City Certification Service, CPD, and our guest presenter, trainer, clinical lead, neurodevelopmental disorders, NHS Southwest London Integrated Care Board, and Deputy Treasurer, World Federation for Mental Health, Professor Henk Parmentier. How are you?
I am very well, and so good to talk to you again after a few years. We had a bit of a break due to pandemic, but we're back on track.
Indeed, and it's good to have you back on board with us here on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. And I believe you have with you our very, very good friend, Patricia Mackenzie Thomas.
She's absolutely here. She's sitting opposite of me. And if you want, I'll hand over the phone to her.
I'm on the phone. Hello, Dervan. How are you doing?
I am fine, thanks. How are you?
I'm fine. So we're back again for Child Month. So this is part of our International Safeguarding Children's Conference Mental Health Awareness. And Dr. Henk is here with us as per usual. And we are starting off tomorrow. And we're also going to be at Exchange Primary School on Friday.
And at this stage, well, let's take it one at a time. So tomorrow is you'll have limited spaces for face-to-face at Seacrest Beach Hotel.
That's correct, but obviously persons can join us. We've got the Zoom details, so persons are quite welcome to join.
Okay. Well, hold it right there. Let's bring Professor Henk Parmentier back into the discussion. Professor Henk, in terms of the areas to be covered, the topics in this hybrid workshop, who is invited and what are the subject matters to be dealt with?
Almost everyone is invited, or in face or online. And of course, it seems that you're doing a recording of it as well. And what we're talking about will be what we call now neurodiversity. So the brain, the developing brain, is going in a direction, and with every person it goes into a different direction. And facing on that for children and what the impact is on that development of the brain on children and on safeguarding, that will be the topic. And then as a sidekick, we go to the complete other end of the spectrum, the brain that is deteriorating. So we call that dementia. So we cover the whole development age of the brain.
Mm-hmm. And so I notice the headline says child adult mental protection and safeguarding. So it's at every level or different levels.
No, that covers every level, and we also do workshops. And during the workshops, of course, a lot of topics can be brought on, and we will discuss it. Mm-hmm. So it's a very freestyle conference. We will bring topics, but also the public is well invited to bring up topics of themselves.
Yes. And Patricia Mackenzie Thomas, you must be delighted to be doing this once again. This is an annual event. It's like a pilgrimage, isn't it?
It's somewhat, and we're glad to be doing face to face. And obviously, part of what we'll be talking about tomorrow is not only our safeguarding issues, but in relation to the impact for children, or parents who have Alzheimer's, grandparents who have Alzheimer's or dementia. So we'll be looking at the treatment journey, the recovery plan, and safe choices, and also at significantly how, as professionals, our own judgment.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And so then, listeners, if you're just tuning in, we want to bring to your attention this child adult mental protection and safeguarding dementia and Alzheimer's hybrid conference workshop happening tomorrow, Wednesday, the 3rd of May, 2023, from 10 in the morning until 4:30 in the afternoon at the Seacrest Beach Hotel. And we're looking forward to connecting with you again tomorrow afternoon for that last session at Seacrest Beach Hotel. Sorry, you were coming in? You wanted to say?
No, I was just going to say, well, thank you so much, because you yourself, have been a supporter and provided us with so much support over the years. And we'd just like to say thank you so much for being there with us throughout our own journey.
Well, so you know what we like to say? You're the ones doing the heavy lifting. We just feel honored and privileged to be able to share your work with Jamaica and the rest of the world. So thank you very much. And so we look forward to connecting with you tomorrow afternoon. Around this time, we perhaps would still be on. And so we look forward to that. In the meantime, we want to encourage those listening to us and watching that this is a worthwhile hybrid conference workshop looking at child adult mental protection and safeguarding dementia and Alzheimer's. And as you heard, it starts at 10 tomorrow morning and goes until 4:30. There's limited space available at the venue. Make note of that. And so you might want to take up whatever available space is there. But in the meantime, be sure to call 876-770-1968. If you need more information, 876-770-1968. And we're sure it's going to be quite engaging. After all, apart from Patricia Mackenzie Thomas, Professor Henk Parmentier is on board, and his presence is priceless. Thank you very much, Professor. All the best to you, and thank you, Patricia Mackenzie Thomas, and we look forward to checking in with you again tomorrow afternoon, right here on both sides of the story.
Thank you very much, Dervan. Have a very blessed evening.
Thanks, and the same to you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. That's Professor Henk Parmentier, Clinical Lead, Neurodevelopmental Disorders with the National Health Service Southwest London Integrated Care Board. He's also Deputy Treasurer of World Federation for Mental Health. And you also heard from Patricia Mackenzie Thomas, and she has a very active organization and presence, essentially straddling both Jamaica and the UK, and I dare say the rest of the world. Patricia Mackenzie Thomas is director at One Step Forward Consultancy and Promotions. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Tuesday, the 5th of May, I beg your pardon, Tuesday, the 2nd of May, 2023. The moving finger writes, and having writ moves on, nor all your piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all your tears wash out a word of it. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Take care.
Children learn what they live. Children live what they learn. Teach them to wait for love in the heart, and they will find out. Children learn.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
News, comprehensive, powerful, and credible.
Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's News at 5.